He said he understood, but I could see in his eyes that he didn't. He was lying to me.
I like this scene, though. It's very funny.
That kid is a stupid, like a wax doll of some kind.
That's Tobey Maguire,
Who's that?
He's an actor who's now a huge actor. He was Spider-Man recently.
God, I can see why, I guess. He's a perfect representative of the breed. Look at that freak.
But he did a good job as being a scary hitchhiker in a way.
He looks like a wax doll, like they're saving money on, putting a rubber doll in the car, waxing it up in the sun.
Well, because he wasn't really bald, so part of that is a ball cap, which got very hot in the Vegas sun, and he was sweating, and the makeup, it kind of looked weird.
Why was he supposed to be bald anyway?
I don't know, because the picture that Ralph drew of him, which is another thing we should talk about, Ralph's illustrations, the illustration of the hitchhiker, he is kind of balding on the front. He has long blonde hair and that kind of short on the front.
True.
And why did Ralph draw him that way? Did you tell him?
Ralph is like that. He can't make anything beautiful. All he can do is make things warped.
And what do you think Ralph's influence on the visuals of the movie? For instance, that's an example that we made the hitchhiker look kind of like Ralph's drawing.
And that is a living goddamn creep, a jackass.
Hunter, how did you like his T-shirt that's Ralph's drawing? You see Ralph's drawing of Mickey Mouse on his T-shirt?
Well, they got a nice Disney commercial in there with... He looks like a 90-year-old man.
Well, Hunter, you have it on pause. That's why, in a very odd moment.
Well, life is full of odd moments. You never know when you're going to get defined.
All right, I want to get on to the casting of Johnny and Benicio and Oscar Acosta. And I know that you were instrumental in getting Johnny and having met Johnny, but you hadn't really met Benicio. So when you first met him, not really knowing his work, how did you feel about him? And he played Gonzo with a lot of rage and menace. And was the real Oscar, do you think he did a real portrayal of how you saw Oscar? And
Yeah,
Oscar?
I think he did.
Was Oscar that frightening, really?
Yeah, it was scary. He wasn't as loud all the time as Benicio is here. Oh, God. Yeah, I think somebody got Oscar a little wrong in making him this sloppy. Oscar was either very sloppy, as in no shirt or an undershirt, or he would be, wearing a suit and tie. Now, in Vegas, no. But in LA most of the time, when I'd be there, he'd be working somewhere, court.
It was going to be very close.
Yeah, look at a sign here that says, "Don't gamble with marijuana. Possession, 20 years. Sale, life." And that's real, folks. That's real. I think it's down now. They're about to legalize marijuana. I think Benicio got the spirit of Oscar's spirit down pretty well. He just wasn't as suave as Oscar. Yeah.
But anyway, Oscar, Duke, and Gonzo are characters. They're not a complete literal representation of you and Oscar.
Well, in the movie, no, but in the book, yeah. Well, that's another ball of wax, isn't it?
There is no way of explaining the terror I felt.
This guy works for this paper down in Vegas. City Life, it's a kind of a big-time alternative paper. He went out to try to trace the steps that I took there on that thing, and he went to all these places. Half of them are gone, landmarks, but at the Mint, I don't even know if the Mint is still there, but he found somebody who was at work and remembers us coming in that night. I think he said something, well, what the hell, they had reservations. I just thought they were creeps.
And were you tripping when you actually came into the hotel on acid?
Well, probably. We'd been doing that for 2 or 3 nights. It probably more like mescaline. I don't recall, frankly.
Terry Gilliam's never taken acid. Do you think that he was able, though, to portray from that?
Well, how could he be? How could he be? Is it possible? But, no, I think a lot of the kind of goofy, quasi-psychedelic scene up in the lobby, that seemed to be pretty effective. Yeah, and I think those effects did not impress me much, but they apparently impressed enough innocent children out there to make it a... I don't know, has it ever made any money? Not I don't think so.
Well, it's a big cult classic. People love the movie. And fans of Terry Gilliam love the movie.
Well, I like the way you did that.
Come on. Come on. Come on. Come on, come on. Let's get some peanuts.
Peanuts?
That's one thing that's good for you, man. Peanuts, man. Peanuts.